Hey ladies and gentlemen, Stephen here from Redolessence and welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it and I hope that this video finds you well. In today's episode, I'm going to be going over 5 of my favorite fragrances by the UK-based brand Terence Hughes, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin this video and I tell you what 5 of my favorite fragrances are by Terence Hughes, who is basically a UK-based indie perfumer, I do want to mention that if you are a fan of fragrance-related content, if you like watching fragrance reviews here on YouTube, but also top lists just like this video, giveaways, unboxings, special guests, interviews, and pretty much anything having to do with fragrances, please do consider supporting this channel by subscribing to it. All you have to do is click on that red button in the corner. I would really appreciate it. And of course, while you're at it, make sure to enable notifications by clicking on the bell icon. This way, whenever I do upload these videos, you will get a notification. They will be delivered straight to your feed. You never have to search up my name or anything like that. But so Terence Hughes is a UK-based indie perfumer that I actually had the pleasure of meeting back in February. So I visited my friends in London, England, and I was staying at a hotel and I extended the invitation to him and he ended up showing up. And he was a very charismatic, very sort of passionate and down-to-earth person. And I posed a lot of questions to him in terms of fragrances, and he had an answer for everything. He was there to enlighten me and to basically take all of my questions and engage in some really interesting dialogue regarding what he does. And you can just tell he's very passionate about perfume making. He has a lot of knowledge and a lot of know-how when it comes to making fragrances. And I really do feel as though his fragrances speak for themselves. And so if you've had the opportunity to sample any of his fragrances, I know I've reviewed a couple on this channel, you would know that he actually takes the time to put out very polished creations, ones that are very strong. A lot of them are concentrated at 25% oil. And he's also very transparent in terms of his use of certain animalic ingredients and his use of agarwood as well. He'll actually tell you the concentration of real oud that is used in his fragrances. And so I kind of like his website. I'm going to leave it down below for a streamlined experience if you are looking forward to learning more about them. But I also want to mention that if you are interested in trying the top 3 fragrances on this list, you may do so at Max Aroma. You can buy bottles there, you can get samples, you can get the cans. This is not a sponsored post, but they are part of my influencer bundle for the month of December. And so if you want to take advantage of it, make sure you do so in the next few days because January is around the bend. We're going to be in 2021. Hopefully it's a better year than 2020, right? But anyway, he's incredibly passionate about what he does, very knowledgeable as well. All of the information is going to be down below. And we also shot a video for each other's channel. I'm going to leave a card up here to where you can watch one of those videos if you are interested in checking that out and seeing what our initial encounter was like. But let's go ahead and jump into the list. So the number 5 fragrance that I want to talk about is Blood Orange. I'm sorry, I don't have enough of his fragrances to do a top 10, but of the ones that I do own, I decided to include my 5 favorites, and Blood Orange is coming in the number 5 spot. Now, Blood Orange is a very interesting fragrance because it's not a linear, simple, clear-cut, and easy to digest orange fragrance. It's actually multifaceted. It has a very complex personality about it. And I would say the first bit of information as to why that is because it actually opens up with this triad of orange. So it has the mandarin, it has the tangerine, it has the blood orange, which adds a bit of sharpness to it. And I like that, right? That it's cutting and it's not a very simple, smooth, subtle, and easy to lose orange. It's one that definitely makes its presence known, but it also has the sambac jasmine in the heart. And it's actually a quite clean jasmine ingredient that you're going to get in here. It's not until it actually dries down that you get the ambergris and some of those woodsy nuances. I believe there might be either cedar wood or driftwood in here, maybe both. But I definitely pick up on a little bit of that ambergris, kind of giving it this fresh quality, but also conveying with it this animalic prowess that I actually really like. So if you are interested in a citrus-based fragrance, but also a citrus that doesn't come across bright and fresh and ozonic. He actually has a fragrance called Ozone, if I'm not mistaken. But if you want a citrus that has weight underneath it, that has sustenance and that has virility, I think you would really enjoy Blood Orange by Terence Hughes. The number 4 fragrance on this list is one that I'm going to have to say its name with a little bit of trepidation. This one is actually called boss bastard. So this one was inspired by Leonardo DiCaprio's character in the movie The Wolf of Wall Street, and he imagined, you know, Leo's character sitting in a leather chair with a Cuban cigar and perhaps having a drink, and it actually has this honey tobacco vibe about it that I think is really interesting. And so if you're a fan of those types of fragrances, and of course it goes without saying that this one is fantastic for the colder weather, and right now it is like super cold outside, it's like 20 degrees Fahrenheit, and so this is the type of fragrance you want to wear on a day like today, one that carries forth with it power, but also elegance and refinement, sophistication. You know, a lot of the ingredients in here are ones that you can see somebody who is dressed up wearing and sporting very comfortably. Nothing about it smells youthful or playful or jocular or anything like that. It smells quite sophisticated, and so I'm actually really enjoying this one, the name of which I will not repeat. But the fragrance that is coming in the number 3 spot, just to move right along here, is Umbra Extreme. Now, this is a fragrance for fans of amber, of course, the namesake of the perfume, but also if you're a fan of some of the smokier variations of amber, I think you will really enjoy this one. So it has that vanilla absolute in the base, and you can tell it's very well textured. It actually is quite strong in the base of the perfume, but it also has a touch of benzoin, and benzoin has a bit of a smoky overtone. Some people say it comes across smelling a little bit medicinal. This one luckily doesn't smell too medicinal. It's not going to smell overly syrupy or viscous. It doesn't smell like cough syrup or anything like that, but it is one of the smokier variations of amber on the market, and of course fossilized amber went extinct a long time ago with the dinosaurs, and so this is an accord, and so it is an accord that is reliant on vanilla and benzoin basically. But what I also really like about this fragrance is the fact that it utilizes yuzu in the opening. Now, yuzu is an Asian citrus ingredient. It's often used as a garnish in a lot of cuisines, and whenever we see yuzu in a perfume, it's often used to create a bright, fresh, aromatic, and ozonic opening, and you'll notice it in fragrances like L'Eau de Citron by Issey Miyake. But in this fragrance, it lies in direct contradiction to those base heavy ingredients that you're going to find in the bottom of this perfume pyramid. So it opens up with this combination and this pairing of bergamot and yuzu, and then as this starts to dry down, you're going to get this warm, resinous, vanillic, and ambery base that I think is awesome. Very well done on this one. Umbra Extreme, fantastic for the colder weather. Definitely one to check out. Put it on your radar if you can. Now, the number 2 fragrance on this list is one called Oxytocin. Now, I'm not an endocrinologist. I'm not going to talk about the release of the hormone and what triggers it and what stimulates it. But what I will say is that there are some really addictive and gourmand ingredients being used in here. You have chocolate, you have vanilla, tonka bean, which also lends a bit of sweetness to the formula as well. You also have rose, and it's a really nice variation of rose. And so rose is actually used in some of his fragrances, not all of them, but this one has a nice dose of it. Very romantic fragrance and very lively, very bright. It's not a subtle and compressed formula, but it's one that's actually quite expansive and billowy, and it's one of my favorites for that reason. You know, you can actually smell it, and it's a multi-dimensional perfume. It's complex. It has a sort of element of non-linearity about it, so it's not a simple and clear-cut perfume, but it's one that actually reveals itself in stages. So when you wear it on skin, you'll get the opening, which is a little bit on the fresher side, and then you'll get the rose, and then you'll get some of those warmer ingredients in the base. Very, very well done with Oxytocin. Definitely one of my favorites from the brand Terence Hughes. And that, of course, leaves us with the number 1 fragrance on this list. This one is an amazing fragrance. I have spoken about this on my channel. I have spoken about this on my friend Carlos's channel from the YouTube channel Brooklyn Fragrance Lover. And this is one that I originally experienced well over a year ago. Might have been like 2 years ago at this point. And I know this is one of his earlier creations, but it's so well done. If you're a fan of fragrances like Richwood by Xerjoff or Coromandel by Chanel, part of the Les Exclusifs line, you're really going to enjoy this one. This one is called Onyx. With Onyx, what I'm getting is this chocolatey, patchouli fragrance. It has a nice bit of warmth. It has a green quality about it. It has this subtle gourmand nature that is not fully gourmand. It certainly doesn't smell cloyingly sweet or sickly sweet, but it is one that is on the heavier side. And so if you're a fan of those weighty, heavy, dense, patchouli, sweet, chocolatey types of perfumes, you're going to really love Onyx. And I know it also has this creamy sandalwood in here, and I could totally be making this up, but that's what I get, you know. And I've made that association with fragrances like Richwood and Coromandel, and thus I describe this fragrance in such a way. But it's such a well done fragrance. If you are a fan of woodsy, smooth, creamy, sweet perfumes, Onyx is the way to go. It's definitely my favorite from the brand. I've tried a lot of his fragrances. I've tried Animalix. There's another one, I think it's called Violet Delirium, but I've tried many of his fragrances, and Onyx is one of my favorites, hands down. I hope you have an opportunity to check it out. And once again, if you're interested in checking out any of these fragrances, you may do so either over at his official website or Max Aroma if you live in the States and you want a more streamlined experience. And also, if you are interested in getting samples or travel atomizers, I believe they're 8 ml, of my top 3 fragrances on this list, you may go ahead and purchase the Max Aroma bundle. I'm going to leave a link to it down below. So guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. These have been my top 5 favorite fragrances by the brand Terence Hughes. If you own or have tried any of these fragrances, please let me know what you think. Go ahead and leave a comment down below. Also, if you are new to this channel and you took something of value from this video, I would really appreciate it if you would consider supporting this channel by subscribing to it. All you have to do is click on that red button in the corner. And of course, while you're at it, please make sure to enable notifications by clicking on the bell icon. This way, whenever I do put out these videos, they will get delivered straight to your feed. You never need to worry about missing any of my future uploads. Thanks again for watching. I love you all, and we'll see you next time. Bye.